Okay, so at times I'm not always the greatest at expressing emotion and turning my thoughts into logical statements. And for that, I turn to a lot of other people, including YouTubers. I tend to watch a lot of podcasts while at work, and one of my favorite people to watch is a YouTuber named Unsolicited Advice. He dropped a video about a week and a half ago. It has to do with love. And one of the parts in it is called self-love, or it focuses on self-love. And that's what we're going to go over today, because I always have my own issues in that area. I feel like I'm always chasing love, and people are telling me that I should stop chasing love and just focus on myself. And there's this expression that comes up every once in a while, something along the lines of, you should love yourself first, or you should learn to love yourself. And that line right there, or that expression right there, like you should learn to love yourself before you can love somebody else, is kind of foreign to me, because I spent a long time getting to know myself and loving myself. I spent a lot of time alone. I meditated. I've done all the stuff that I need to know to focus on me. I'm extremely happy in my own personal gains, where I've come from and where I am now in life. I've done a lot of really cool stuff, and I like myself. I love myself. I know who I am. I know what it takes to keep me happy. I know what makes me sad, and I know that I'm a very loving individual, and I just want to care about people, and I want people around me, which is a damn shame, because it's ironic that I spend so much time alone. I've also noticed that a lot of my friends tend to be older. I tend to get along with older people who have wisdom and can spread that wisdom on to me, people that I can learn from and listen to and practice and adapt and just put that knowledge into use. I don't see people my age or younger as people that can spread wisdom onto what I already have, because I've been through so much in life. I've traveled so much, and I've seen so many things, and I've entered different cultures, and I've talked to different people, and I've done so many different jobs. I have so many different skills, and if anything, I'm impressed with myself and who I am. There are self-image issues and self-esteem issues, but it's not like I'm not proud of myself. I do get depressed. I do get anxious. I'm a human being. I just want to love wholeheartedly. I'm a very intimate lover. I'm a deep, passionate love. I just want to spread love. I just want to be loved, and I want to care about people. So that line, that expression, you should learn to love yourself, I feel like just doesn't apply to me. There's always work you can do to yourself. I believe that. But I don't believe that loving myself is something I have to do to find love. I've never felt that way. I never thought that learning to love yourself was something you had to do by yourself. And so I was watching a new video by Unsolicited Advice, which we're going to get into here in a minute, but he goes into a part in the video where he talks about this, and it blew my mind. I was listening to it at work, and I had to restart it, because I was like, wow, that all makes sense. Like, how come people don't understand this? How hard is it? And it's not like I can turn the words into proper thought, the thoughts into proper words and stuff. I'm so bad at that. I'm trying to express myself right now. This is actually emotionally more than I probably shared on YouTube. I'm trying to get a bit more, I'm trying to let you guys into my world, let you get to know me a little bit more. But I do have a problem chasing love and trying to be loved and trying to please people and just entering different relationships. The tiniest hint of love. You know those type of people who just want to be loved so much that the tiniest bit of love makes them care so deeply about that person. Like, there's been plenty of relationships I've been in where it's like almost immediately I'd be infatuated with somebody, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if I could change that. I'm working on myself. It's a continuing process, but I am happy with myself. I don't need to love myself to find love, if that makes sense. I do believe there is something in not chasing, and I do believe there is something in just forgetting about it, the romantic side of it, and just letting it come to you. I do believe there is something in that, so I'm working on that. But I don't believe that loving yourself is something you need to do in private, and that it's not like other people can't be around to love you too. There's plenty of people out there with plenty of friends, big friend groups, who have that type of love because they have other people around them, and I enjoy that. I enjoy having other people around me that will show me the care that I'll show them. It's reciprocated back and forth. It's just really hard to find. I don't know if I've had issues with that. It's definitely that. I've definitely had issues with getting reciprocated love where it feels like I'm putting in 100%, because I always do, just to get like 10% back from the other side. It's a really weird situation, and I've lowered my expectations a lot. I've lowered my expectations so much, but as a human being, I have the expectations. You can't get rid of them. You want what you want, and you can't change that. And you can work on it, and you can kind of, what is the word for it? Where you just, contentment and shit, where you become content with whatever you get. I don't want to be like that, because I feel like I want what I want, and I'll find somebody who can love me the way I'll love them, and I know for a fact it exists because it has existed in my life before, where I've had that, like, me giving my 100% and her giving her 100% to me. That's just how I picture relationships. I don't know, you can call me whatever you want. That's just how I was raised, to give your 100% to somebody. Or maybe it's just in my DNA to feel that way. I don't know what it is. It's not. Maybe it's a learned trait. Who knows? But I want to give my 100% to somebody who's going to give their 100% to me, and we can work together to build a better future and learn about each other and teach each other what we've learned. It's about it's a two-way street, man. You gotta work together. But it's good. You can go ahead and watch the full video on the Unsolicited Advice channel, and maybe I'll cut in here and there as the video starts to play. But it goes over some great points that I was trying to make, that you don't need to be alone to learn to love yourself. You can have people around. It could be a community. Sometimes it takes a community. You know, it takes a village to raise. You know what I'm saying? And that's the type of person I am. I always felt the need and the belief that it takes others. I love making people happy, and I like doing for other people. So not being able to do that is not fulfilling my purpose in life. And it's really hard because there's not many people who, I don't know, maybe people just don't want me around, but maybe I pushed myself onto people too much. Maybe I've just learned that society is absolutely insane, and that I don't listen to politics. I deactivated all my social media accounts, except for YouTube and TikTok, because I upload videos, and I don't want to hear nothing about nobody no more. The people I've learned to, like, admire or like become fans of, I've learned later down the line that they're weirdos. So like I can't look up to anybody no more. I don't have any idols anymore. There's no, like, I don't believe in like any of that stuff. Everybody is just a lunatic. I have to assume that. I have to assume that you're guilty until proven innocent, because I've put my heart into people just to be shown that I definitely should not have put my heart into those people. And I won't ever call it a waste of time. I will call it a lesson learned. I will ask a huge favor. I am trying to hit 10,000 subscribers, so please go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to check out some more videos. I have a whole range of videos. I've never stuck to a niche at all. I do drone videos, I do e-skate videos, we react to Drumeo videos, I do vlogs, we do all sorts of stuff. If you're into music videos, we've shot music videos, and I've made my own music. I'm not very good, but I do try. I'm not the best at this YouTube thing. I am trying. And I'm learning every single day to better myself and become a better person, and just try to be out here talking to people. I want to be a positive influence and teach the masses that life is more than anger. So it's like, I don't know. I had to, like, as I was saying earlier, I had to deactivate all my social media because this political season is just out of control, and it's never going to get better, I feel. So I'm just going to willfully ignore it and be ignorant to whatever is going on in the world besides my own little bubble. You know what I'm saying? Alright, let's jump into this video.
Borrow a thought from Byung-Chul Han. If we can do anything, then the only reason we haven't is because we are not good enough. Far from being a compassionate message to send to someone struggling with loneliness, this strikes me as almost painfully unkind. This is the sort of thought that sounds friendly on the surface but conceals a whole host of philosophical sins. That, knowingly or not, only increases the sufferer's hardship. To continue this point further, I want to explore the relationship between the love of others and self-love, and how we may have introduced quite a destructive and deceptive principle into our received philosophy of romance. 7. The expectation of self-love. As I was doing research for this video, there was one phrase I came across over and over again regarding dating. If you can't love yourself, how can you expect others to love you? This was often said as if it was ending the discussion, a sort of mic drop moment before the enlightened purveyor of this aphoristic amorous advice strolled into the sunset. And I don't want to be unfair here, because as we shall see, there is nothing in this. But at the same time, buried within this phrase is a picture of love that I think both demands far too much of us and obscures its genuinely helpful aspects. My primary issue with this piece of advice is that it treats our self-esteem and our identity formation as something that happens in isolation. It paints a picture where we retreat to our cave for a little while, learn to love ourselves, and then emerge back into the public sphere with ironclad self-confidence ready to take Tinder by storm. But I don't think this is a realistic expectation to have of people. Over the course of the late 19th and 20th centuries, more and more thinkers came to believe that identity formation is only partly something we do individually, and is ultimately inseparable from how we are perceived by others. Jacques Lacan and Jean-Paul Sartre both talked about how we form our self-conceptions by seeing how others react to us and adjusting accordingly. I can say I'm a fantastic football player, but I can't fully believe it until there is solid evidence and other people to confirm this position. When I stroll onto a field and immediately slip over trying to kick the ball, not only will other people be unable to believe that I am good at football, but I will also struggle to believe it myself. This is part of why a lot of child psychologists place such an emphasis on the messages parents send to children through their behavior. It forms part of the child's later self-concept. Whether they see themselves as worthy, lovable, and safe partly depends on how they are treated by their parents. But then this raises a question. How on earth are we meant to fully love ourselves and be confident in ourselves before other people do? I'm not suggesting that it's impossible, but I do think it is a lot more difficult than it's given credit for. This view of love also stands in stark contrast to earlier conceptions, such as that given by Dante Alighieri. In the Divine Comedy, his love, Beatrice, ascends through paradise with Dante, and eventually Dante even sees the glory of God reflected in the eyes of his beloved. This picture implies that love is not simply a matter of two people coming together, already complete and self-sufficient, but rather a process of mutual development. This is echoed in the works of someone like St. Thomas Aquinas, who described loving yourself, loving others, and loving God as all part of one shared project. This is a far less individualistic picture of both love and self-esteem. Instead of self-love being something that you learn by yourself and then bring into the world, it is something that you and your beloved support one another in doing. By willing the good of the other for the sake of the other, we learn both that we are lovable and how to love others, thereby creating the conditions for self-love to emerge. Or at least this is how I interpret this idea. For Dostoevsky, it is often the love and care of another person that can spur someone onto their own sort of self-love. When Alyosha displays his spiritual love to Grushenka, this is the first step towards her learning to find her personal dignity. And when Sonya loves Raskolnikov, it is the very thing he needs to embark on the long road to abandoning his self-hatred and making amends for his deeds. In these works, love is presented as much more of a communal effort, and there is no pretense that anyone can wake up one morning and decide to love themselves. It is rather that we, and by we I mean all of us, must help one another to see our lovable aspects. Or, to again draw from Christian theology, to see someone through the eyes of an all-loving God. You don't need to be religious to appreciate that there might be some value in this message. It's also worth noting that the love in question need not be romantic in nature. And this communal task is pretty vital, because the valuable part of the idea that self-love is a prerequisite for the love of another is that a poor self-image can lead to all sorts of self-destructive behaviors that make perfect sense to the self-hating lover, but baffle everyone around them, including their beloved. This is explored in great detail by de Botton in various talks, books, and lectures. He concurs with other thinkers like Zizek and Lacan that a need to be loved often, but not always, begins from some feeling of inadequacy. We see in someone else both the qualities we wish we had ourselves and someone whose admiration would help complete our self-image as a lovable person. It is a bit like how a chef might desire a good review from a particularly harsh critic to serve as the ultimate test of their skill. However, de Botton says that this is often a catch-22, because when our self-concept is truly in the gutter, someone liking us does not become evidence that we were not that bad after all, but rather one of two unfortunate things happen. We either start to like that person less on the basis that we do not want to be a part of any club which would have us as a member, or we begin to feel incredibly dishonest. We suspect that the only reason that they have not abandoned us is because they are yet to discover our fatal flaw. We conceive of ourselves as in some way metaphysically tainted. They only like me, we say to ourselves, because they haven't discovered that I am secretly an ugly, repulsive goblin. This can turn the experience of being loved into a source of guilt. We feel like we are conning our beloved, because if they still love us, then we must be playing some sort of trick on them. We exist with the permanent anxiety of being discovered. Either way, we are apt to run from the very person we most desire. But therein lies the fatal tension. It is hard to convince yourself you are lovable without love, but at the same time, it is hard to believe that you are loved if you hold the deep-seated belief that you are unlovable. I certainly don't have a complete solution here, but I will refer you back to the previous section of the video where I talked about the importance of friendship. Friends can help us see our lovability at a much lower stakes level, and as a result can be vital pillars in building our self-esteem. Yet another reason to reinstate the value of friendship in our society.
So I guess to finish this video, I want you to know that you are loved and you are lovable. Everybody is. Everybody is deserving of love and being treated equally, with care, with tenderness. Yeah, but life is rough. So, yeah, I hope you learned something in this video, and if you did, make sure you like, subscribe, all that cool stuff, and I'll see you in the very next one. Peace and love.